Not being loved is a difficult experience. In spite of the fact that it is a subject that is widely relevant and very important, it is a problem that lies dormant inside the depths of our feelings, and it is a blessing that I am here today to discuss it. Please provide an explanation as to why love and acceptance are so necessary to our mental and emotional well-being, as well as why they are so beneficial, and what sort of significant repercussions can the anguish of not being loved have on our view of who we are, as well as on the connections we have with other people. We are going to collaborate in order to investigate these substantial and pervasive problems in order to fulfill the aim of this conference. It is very unusual for individuals to have feelings of loneliness and a lack of belonging in today's society with the presence of social media and its inclination to depict people's lives in an idealized manner. This is because social media tends to portray people's lives in a way that is idealized. We live in a world that is more linked than ever before because to digital technology, but there are moments when we feel more isolated than we ever have before. When this is taken into consideration, it is of the utmost importance to be conscious of the ways in which the misery of being disliked may have an impact on our mental and emotional well-being. When we live in a society that is always passing judgment, what are some ways that we might learn to love ourselves? If you continue reading, we will offer the solutions to a significant number of these questions right here. The need to belong and to be acknowledged is something that everyone possesses. A profound need to be encircled by a loving hug is there in each and every one of us from the time we are born. Affirmation in the form of looks and encouragement in the form of words are both essential components of a successful relationship. Rather from being a sign of weakness, the human need for acceptance and love is a strength that serves as a continual reminder of our connectivity. This is because it comes from the human heart. Both of these requirements are necessary for human life. Love is akin to water and sunshine in that it is necessary for the development and growth of a flower. Love is vital to the creation and growth of a flower. Our spirits blossom, our hearts are at peace, and our minds are full to the brim with optimism when we are loved. There is no better feeling than being loved. It is possible, on the other hand, that the absence of love in our life might throw a shadow that causes us to feel empty and sad. The act of receiving is an essential component of love, but the act of giving is also very significant. The great joy that results from a genuine human connection is something that we are able to experience when we love other people. A continual reminder that we are lovely and deserving of love and care is provided by love in all of its forms of giving and receiving. Love not only feeds our souls, but also acts as a constant reminder that we are beautiful. On the other side, how are we supposed to deal with situations in which we are rejected, or, even worse, when we do not meet with love? When we are not loved, the misery that we feel has the power to cut us to the core of our being. We could start to have doubts about ourselves and our capabilities as a consequence of this. It is because of this that we are left questioning whether or not we are deserving of love and devotion, as well as whether or not we are adequate. On the other hand, there is a basic idea that I would want you to comprehend, and that is the fact that self-love has the ability to dispel the shadow of rejection. Getting over the sorrow of being despised is something that can only be accomplished via the process of learning to love oneself totally. If we can learn to embrace ourselves and others in the present moment, we may be able to start the process of healing our sorrow. It is possible to reach a profound and freeing feeling of calm when we embrace ourselves in our completeness, with our shortcomings, and when we allow ourselves permission to be human and make errors. Not only do we cultivate compassion for ourselves, but we also cultivate compassion for other people when we engage in activities that enable us to embrace ourselves. It is essential to bear in mind that love and acceptance are not only traits that we anticipate others will bestow upon us. Rather, they are values that we already possess and are delighted to share with the rest of the world. How to deal with emotional struggle and struggle. As we go on to the next topic of conversation, we will be talking about the severe emotional scars that result from not being loved. Despite the fact that these wounds are not apparent to the human eye, they have significant and long-lasting effects on the world that we live in. It is possible to consider these emotional scars to be concrete recollections of the moments in our life when we were required to triumph over enormous obstacles. It is probable that these scars have an effect on our capacity to form meaningful connections, our faith in other people, and our perception of our own value. As a result, they cause us to question our own value and interfere with our judgment of the natural beauty that we already possess. It is possible to suffer sentiments of pessimism, concern, and despair as a consequence of the misery of being despised. Whenever we give it any thought, we question whether or not we are deserving of love and whether or not other people will ever find enough in us to satisfy their requirements. On the other hand, this is a really significant piece of information. These wounds have the ability to heal. When compared to the potential of our bodies to repair physical wounds to the same degree, the extraordinary capacity of our minds and hearts to heal emotional trauma is similar. The first thing that needs to be done in order to start the process of healing these wounds is to finally have the guts to accept and deal with them. It is impossible to make amends for the things that we refuse to accept. For this reason, let us give ourselves permission to feel upset, accept it, and go on with our life. The sensation of feeling annoyed is a normal one. As a necessary step in the process of healing, it is crucial to give yourself permission to be vulnerable. Through the act of discussing our wounds and sharing our stories, we may start the process of healing and triumph over the suffering that we are now feeling. The fact that our emotional scars do not determine who we are is one of the most basic facts I have ever learned. The fact that we have been through traumatic experiences does not change the fact that we are important. On the contrary, these experiences have the potential to serve as compelling testimonials to our resiliency and our ability to recover from such experiences. When we acknowledge that our wounds are a component of who we are and learn from them, we have the capacity to convert our pain into a source of strength and empathy for others. Before we can make any progress on this road to recovery, it is very necessary for us to take care of ourselves and surround ourselves with people who are good influences. It may be quite good to seek the assistance of a therapist or another trained expert at this time, as it may be highly beneficial. In the event that we provide ourselves permission to heal, our wounds transform into lessons that assist us in being more resilient. Having the capacity to love and respect yourself in spite of the difficulties we are now experiencing is one of the lessons that we acquire when we are able to win over the misery of not being loved. It is for this reason that I strongly encourage you to confront these mental scars with bravery and compassion. When we are ready to continue in spite of our inadequacies and acknowledge the inherent strength that we possess, we will find that we are more capable than we ever dreamed we were. In the understanding that we are deserving of love and acceptance, even from inside ourselves, let us start on this road toward healing with a feeling of optimism and resolve. Let us do so with the knowing that we are worthy of love and acceptance. Develop your relationships and acknowledge the value you bring to the world. What we feel and the things that are important to us are reflected in the relationships that we have with other people. When we are in relationships that are genuine and supportive, we are in a position where we are able to develop love and be loved by others. The basis of a good relationship with another person is the ability to love oneself enough to do so. Love for oneself is the cornerstone upon which healthy relationships are constructed, as I have said in the past. We communicate to others that they ought to love us in the same manner that we love ourselves when we teach them to love themselves. Learning to respect yourself and establishing emotional boundaries are two things that may help us keep damaging individuals out of our lives. In addition, relationships that are successful are built on the basis of honesty and communication and the capacity to sympathize with one another. To be successful, we need to have the capacity to communicate with others in a polite way and become skilled in this talent. In addition to being an important component, confidence is another factor that helps to the success of partnerships. When we have experienced pain in the past, it is more difficult for us to trust the individuals who are there for us. On the other hand, it is essential to bear in mind that trust is developed gradually via consistent acts and words that indicate the conduct in question. One further manner in which individuals may demonstrate their love and support for us is by putting their faith in individuals like us. In the realm of relationships, having adequate boundaries is something that cannot be purchased with money. The establishment of boundaries serves as a protective barrier, enabling us to preserve the authenticity of our emotions and cultivating connections with other people that are just and caring. In order to successfully create limits, it is vital to have a strong sense of self-awareness and the capacity to say no when it is acceptable to do so. When it comes to our relationships, it is more important to make sure that they are courteous and useful to both parties than it is to prioritize our own interests. Additionally, in order to successfully create solid connections within the framework of interpersonal interactions, it is essential to forgive one another. This is what makes forgiveness so important. It is conceivable that the people we care about may be harmed as a consequence of the fact that we have made errors. Letting go of anger and going on with your life is the essence of forgiveness. It is not about condoning scorn or abuse. Rather, it is about moving on with your life. It is through the act of forgiving others that we make room in our hearts for true love and connection. By the end of the day, a healthy relationship is the outcome of a trip that was taken jointly by both parties. The fact that they offer an endless wellspring of happiness, support, and development does not change the fact that they take work, devotion, and continual care. We are able to love and accept ourselves more completely when we cultivate healthy connections, and these interactions also teach us how to love and accept other people. Self-acceptance is useful as a method of practice. After we have finished going over the foundations, let us now dig into the idea of self-acceptance and investigate the many ways in which it has the ability to change the way we see life. Self-acceptance is a process that involves more than simply speaking the words. It requires you to find inner peace and be honest with yourself. These are crucial stages in the process. When we embrace ourselves without conditions, it is likely that we will be able to alleviate the load of self-criticism and the never-ending urge to seek the acceptance of others. Our peculiarities are lauded as characteristics that contribute to the overall worth of our personalities and the contributions we make to the connections we have. A greater knowledge of ourselves and the people around us may be gained not only through the process of learning to accept and embrace our faults, but also through the process of learning to accept and embrace our imperfections. There are moments when we are the most critical of ourselves. When we are extremely critical of ourselves in areas such as our looks or our inadequacies, we have the ability to persuade ourselves that we are not good enough. When we engage in the practice of self-acceptance, we emphasize the importance of refraining from passing judgment on ourselves and instead beginning to embrace ourselves in the present moment. The cultivation of an appreciation for isolation and the discovery of the calm that may be found in silence can be accomplished by learning to appreciate and respect our own company of our own will. Having the capacity to accept ourselves also provides us with the fortitude to establish reasonable boundaries with the individuals who are in our immediate areas of influence. Having the ability to say no when it is appropriate is important for both our mental and physical resiliency. If we create clear boundaries, we may be able to build relationships that are egalitarian and compassionate, in which the aspirations and needs of each person are acknowledged. Self-acceptance has a number of components, one of which is the act of forgiving oneself for activities and choices that one has made in the past toward oneself. In order to be human, one must be able to make errors. This is an unavoidable component of being alive. It is possible for us to put the past in the past and have faith in the future if we forgive ourselves and allow ourselves to be forgiven. In the process of letting go of the load of guilt that we have been carrying, we make room for personal development and change. To the extent that we are able to learn to accept ourselves, we will be able to live our lives in line with who we actually are. Because of this, we are able to preserve our authenticity in spite of the pressures that come from the outside world to comply. When a person is able to embrace themselves in a genuine manner, they exude a luminosity that draws in other people who share their beliefs and experiences in life that are significant to them. It takes a certain level of bravery to carry out such an action. Because we are under the misguided impression that being vulnerable is a sign of mental or emotional weakness, we often choose not to seek assistance. Nevertheless, having the self-assurance to ask for assistance is an essential step. In times when things are at their worst, we depend on the support and advice of counselors and therapists to assist us in getting through all that is going on. There are moments when we are caught up in the tornado of emotional distress, and it may be hard to obtain perspective on the situation. It is possible for professionals to assist us in navigating the intricate emotional terrain and to provide us with the skills that we need in order to heal from the wounds that we have experienced in the past. It is possible that we may find that the load that we carry inside us is lessened when we discuss our thoughts and emotions with a sympathetic expert. Whenever we find ourselves in need of assistance, there are moments when we have to be truthful with the individuals most important to us. When we share our deepest, most trusted thoughts and feelings with others we care about, we build the emotional relationships that are necessary for our mental and emotional functioning. In addition to the fact that we are able to weep on their shoulder, we are also able to enhance the emotional relationships that we have with them. If we merely let the individuals in our immediate surrounds know that we are experiencing problems, they are often more than happy to provide a helping hand to us. It is essential to have the understanding that requesting assistance is not a sign of weakness, but rather a starting step in the correct way toward rehabilitation. There are strong methods that may assist us in improving our capacity to confront our issues and heal the physical and emotional traumas that we have endured. These resources include therapy, mentorship, and social support communities. Making the decision to seek assistance gives us the chance to develop, acquire new knowledge, and eventually triumph over the suffering that we are now feeling. In addition, there is a need to eradicate the stigma that is connected to mental health problems. There is no need to be embarrassed about getting treatment for our emotional wounds since, in light of the reality that emotional health is just as vital as physical health, there is no need to feel ashamed. There will be a higher number of individuals who are prepared to talk freely and honestly about their emotional difficulties, which will subsequently result in assistance being more readily accessible to everyone, regardless of whether or not they are experiencing emotions of shame or judgment. To summarize, demonstrating love for oneself entails making an attempt to be of assistance to oneself. From this perspective, it serves as a subtle reminder that we have the right to a life that is free from the burden of mental agony for the whole of our lives. It is possible that we may be able to recuperate and finally achieve the tranquility that we want if we are ready to explore the prospect of getting financial assistance. We are not the only ones who have experienced this. There are a great number of individuals who are familiar with the sensation of being disliked. It is within our power to rehabilitate ourselves and discover the love and acceptance that we so richly anticipate receiving. This is not beyond our capabilities. It is important to keep in mind that the capacity to love oneself is the cornerstone of a successful life. The process of loving oneself as well as others requires the cultivation of empathy and compassion, which are both crucial components. Before you go, take a moment. Thank yourself for being here, for listening, for showing up today. You don't have to have everything figured out. Just keep taking small steps. I'll see you in the next story.